How's it going? I'm Todd Brueggemann, and I am in video production. I think it evolved. I think in the beginning of it, I was doing a lot of acting. So I started off on that side of the camera and then got into photography. And then photography led to video. And now I'm doing video production. I'd say whenever I started getting paid, I was like, or I knew I could do this for whenever they started paying me. Before that, I was just having a good time trying to figure it out, and then when people started paying, I was like, oh my god, this is awesome! Like, actually, I can do this? Like, I can do it, and then the obsession with like, how do I get better started. There's never been like a big break, but there's been like tons and tons of chipping away. I remember when I first started, I was driving for Uber and Lyft, and I just didn't want to do that anymore. So I thought, like, how do I make $100 a day? And that's when I was like, I'll just do product photos. So then I was the cheapest product photographer. So then I started getting hired, and then just chipped away. The wildest thing, I don't know. I mean, I guess the thing that was the hardest maybe was going back to school and learning like math, going back and doing that kind of thing. I don't know if that's the wildest thing, but I guess like getting through that, like actually being able to succeed in math. Like I tested into the stupid math whenever I was in college. I'm not sure that how to put that the best, but they put me in the special math class, and so to kind of get out of that and then actually retrain the brain to learn it was I'd say, I don't know if that's the wildest thing, but that's the thing I'm the most proud of is being able to learn something that I actually didn't think was possible. I feel like as a kid, I wasn't very creative. So I guess I could imagine a life like it. As a kid, I was more of I played sports and did that, and that's what everybody did. I feel like as a kid, and I grew up in Ozark, Missouri, so it's like there wasn't a ton of art there. It's changing now, which is cool, but at the time, it wasn't around. My father was a musician, but I wasn't into music, so. So yeah, I think at this point, I just if it's not creative and it's work related, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not the right person for it. And there's creativity in everything, like even in programming. Um, the best programmers are artists. The best machine learning engineers are artists. It's not about regurgitating previously discovered formulas. It's more about creating paths to answers from pre-existing formulas. You got Formula A and Formula B. Like we need artists to figure out how to get between those two. I I think I was an emotional kid. I would say keep your emotion. It's like in school. They channel it. They put you in the corner and they want you to just sit there and do what you're told to do. But it's like some people aren't built for that. And, it is harder to be one of those people, but it is more fulfilling because we feel more of what's happening. Some people just feel more. I don't know why. Some people don't feel as much. And it's easier to be one of the people that doesn't feel as much. And I can remember they were like people, and everybody's trying their hardest, but it's like some people are just emotional, and it's best to just let those emotions out than to bury them. The thing that makes me come alive now is just learning new things. It's like if I don't understand something, I just want to spend all of my time learning it. Um, and I don't know why, but I just want to learn. I have this like thirst for knowledge that's never really been there. I used to just kind of be comfortable, but now I love learning new things. The mathematics, I go back to that though. That was so hard for me to learn it, but now like we can read a physics book and not actually have to do any of the physics. Like they just tell us what was done, and so I don't know. I think right now that would be it. It's just learning more, continuing to get smarter, and putting myself in a position to solve really big problems. And I love being an artist because that inevitably makes me creative. And when we're creative, we can solve problems. I was lucky because my wife and I got married like a couple months before the pandemic. So I was able to go into it with like a really strong and healthy relationship. And um, that helps a lot. I don't know if I could have made it through the pandemic without that, um, because just companionship is great. I had a friend tell me the other day, and it has to do with the pandemic, but they shouldn't have called it social distancing. They should have, because that inevitably makes it seem like we've got to all be like socially distant, but we don't need to be socially distant. We need to be physically distant. They should have said physical distancing, because social distancing has really set us up in this situation where we think, oh, we're supposed to be not communicating. I mean, and at least it sounds that way. I think it was a misbranding. I'm hesitant to say that I've got it because it's not going to be. I know it's going to get picked apart, but um, yeah, I'd say in the next couple of years, I'd like to come out with a couple theories for why hurricanes rapidly intensify. I think I'm really close. I mean, that's the truth of it. I mean, I really do. It's like it's that weird thing whenever you're like, I'm right there. You can feel it coming, and it's like just being open to receiving the information, and then researching all the different things we currently know, but then also trying to pick apart why that they're probably wrong. Um, and yeah, I feel like it's gonna happen. I mean, I really do. You know how it is whenever you feel like something's coming, and it, it's an interesting feeling. I figured like my wife cried, I might as well come on in here and not go all the way. Like, I didn't go all the way. Like I got there a little bit, but I don't talk to my younger self enough. Now thinking about it, I'm like, I should talk. I should just have conversations with him. I'm just kidding. Don't do that, by the way. Don't talk to yourself. That's probably terrible.